Hello and welcome to Medieval Dynasty. Well, we're now in the last day of spring. Yep, just checking, we're in the last day of spring. We've actually got our horses now. All the chapters are finished, main quest's finished. So it's a case of what do we do next? Because actually there's a lot still to do. I only got so far in like production technology, for example, so I'm a long ways off being able to get, for example, market stalls. I think that's probably about it. Yeah, the tavern introduces a lot of food, but 10,000 technology, I can say that's going to take me a long time. Farming technology wise, we've gone just past the 2,500 mark, so we'll be able to build like a sheepfold, for example. Still cows and apiaries. Not a lot of particular interest, I must admit, in survival technology, but what I am particularly interested in is building technology, because that opens up the mine. Yeah, it'll be great to get a builder's hut, but 7,500 still a ways off. So it's this mine that I'm specifically interested in. So that's, yeah, just under 2,000 points we need. That's a lot of points. But as it turns out, I've got a lot of work to do, because that's our main village over there, and I've been rebuilding it. I've been giving people big houses. I've been basically completely building new big houses made of stone with these actual tile roofs, and then replacing all of these little small simple houses that we've got. So that's these little ones here. So there's still a lot to do. So I'm figuring if I start replacing a lot of these, we'll start to see a lot of like points, because that's what that specific technology is looking for, basically. Extraction and building. I'm going to have to chop down a lot of trees. I'm going to have to get a lot of stone out of the mines, for example. So that's I think that's going to keep me pretty much occupied for quite some time. Now, I think the first thing to probably focus on is going to be, well, Gundulf over there, I say over there, Gundulf works over there doing the fishing. Bolemira's over there doing extraction, because there's an extraction hut. And I actually want to move their houses over here along with that extraction hut, because there's actually quite a lot of rocks over here. Quite a lot of time Bolemira's standing around here. That'll be Gundulf over there. Bolemira's usually standing around here, so I figure if I bring an actual hut over here along with her house, should make her a bit more productive, I suppose. To be honest, I don't think it really matters technically in the game. Although her house is over here, and although the excavation hut's here, and although she's standing over here, as far as I'm aware, the excavation hut just keeps building up a certain amount of stone, for example, if you're going to collect it. The rest, it's just animation. But, all the same, I'll still want to move them over here. I also need to get a house built over here for somebody to actually look after the horses. I can do that, but I'm trying to make everything self-sufficient. So, oh, hello, little man.
Hello.
How are you doing these days? Ooh, cool. So he's level 4 in survival. So yeah, I think the first thing I'm going to do then is basically focus on Bolemira, get an excavation hut built over here for her, plus a house. We're now in the first days of autumn, and I've managed to get the excavation hut here built. And I just remembered, actually, there's some clay deposits around here, so for that reason I'm going to start mining clay. I don't necessarily need it for, say, like daub, for example, but the woodworker can actually make clay pots, for example, that we can sell later on. So that's going to be quite useful. I managed to get the actual frame in place for Bolemira when, to move across here, because what I'm thinking is expanding out now. At that point where, let's see, we can build up to 65 buildings, but even still, these are big houses and they're going to start going to waste, really. So I think what I'll do is, once that house is built, I'll start hiring another NPC. So I think what I'll do is I'll get a male farmer who can actually look after the horses over there. Pair him up with Bolemira here, because she's going to be working in the excavation hut. Now, obviously, at some point they'll probably hook up if their ages are similar and start having children, which would put her out of production for a while. But that's the solid strategy I'm starting to take now, is to get more people in, because at some point you'll just run out of houses. The chapters are finished now. If we go back to the journal, there's no more chapters, they're all completed. So I can't expand beyond 65 buildings. So these are things I need to start factoring in. But another thing is, it's the start of a new season, there was no events. So in which case what I'm going to start doing is, because I'm keen to get technology points, is to actually start doing the quests, these little side quests. So I'm not going to go all the way down to Horniker, but I could easily do a tour around these ones here, for example. And I'm going to look for the type of quests that have going to reward you with certain production technology. Because what I've noticed is you start off where you might get something that says, I'll give you so much building technology. For example, if you do like a farming one, they'll ask you to chop down trees. You get a certain amount of points back that go into your building technology, for instance. But as you get further along and further down in this tree, you start to get even more points, because these are getting bigger and bigger. I mean, you start off, you know, the gap is 50, 150, 250. I mean, here we're going from 2,500 to 5,000 to 7,500 and then to 10,000. So that's a big gap. So they do actually increase and they start giving you more and more points. So there's a bit of an incentive now for me to start doing a tour at the start of every season, just to see if I can get quests like that, and that'll help speed things up. Well, so far I've been doing a tour. We're over at Dernica, and I've managed to pick up one quest, which is actually for the fields, which is ideal. I mean, this one, I don't know why I think I got confused. I thought you would get like building technology, you don't get farming technology. Somebody asks you to basically chop down trees for a farm that they want to build. So, although it's extraction, you get farming technology. And for some strange reason, I thought you got building technology, but there you go. But you can see, I mean, there's 250 points to be, got from that particular quest. So that's pretty, pretty good, because I mean, that's going to push me up to 3,000, pretty much. It's going to get me much closer. I mean, 3,500 for a cowshed, but it's probably because of the gap. That's why they do it. But I then just picked up another quest here. All they want is a copper hammer, and it's going to get me 120 building technology. So that's really good, that. So that one's at around about... Well, actually, this one's further ahead than the actual farming technology, but it's, for whatever reason, it's giving me less. To be fair, there's not a great deal to do anyway. But it's a quick way of getting, your technology points boosted. Now, I'm going to have to make some decisions at some point, because I haven't found any guys who are good at farming. So I'm weighing it up. I might end up just finding a woman who can do the farming instead, and I'll pair her up with Gundolf. Because ultimately I just need 2 people working there. It just saves me having to build a completely new house for them. So yeah, that could be a way. I just wanted to see how old these are, because there was a 19-year-old I found over in Branniger. Now, I'm just thinking it was Bolemira. She's 25, so yeah, I'm not too sure about that. So let's see, there was a burger here. How old is she? So she's 23.
Goodbye.
She's 23 and Gundolf's 27, so I don't think it'd be that big of a deal. But I'm still going to keep making a tour until we get to Burrow, and then I'll make my mind up as to who we hire. Because I just need basically somebody to look after the actual horses that we've now got. So it could either be somebody who's going to team up with Bolemira, or somebody who teams up with Gundolf. So we'll see. Still got a 2 more villages to go. I'm not going to go all the way to Lesniger. I mean, I'm not too far away. I'm just mindful of the fact that it's, it's 1 o'clock in the afternoon. I've still got quite a lot to do anyway. Interestingly enough, I've noticed there's a bunch of bandits down here. They're actually blocking the road, which I haven't noticed before. Normally they're hiding in, that you just happen to run across them. If you like this, you're running through the fields, for example. These looked as though they were actually blocking the actual road. Or at least they were very, very close, because normally I remember coming through here. Yeah, because it's on the way from, it's like Rolnica. If you come through from, say, Rolnica or Tutki and you're heading for Lesnica, for example, you're coming down this road. They're pretty close to the road. But I'm going to leave them be. And I'm going to head for Gostovia and Borough next. Well, we're now coming to the end of summer, and it doesn't feel as though I've actually done much, I must admit. I mean, because over there, I mean, we've got our excavation hut for where Bolemira is now working. We've also got the house there that she lives in. I've actually hired Luberta. Oh, not Lubart, that's it. He's called Lubart. So Lubart now lives with Bolemira, and he's looking after the actual horses that we've got over there, so that's good. And I've built another house over there. So that's the big house again, and that's specifically for Gundolf. I mean, what I'm doing is I'm pairing up people and putting them into these houses now. I'm not too bothered if if somebody ends up out of service for a while and not working, because I need to expand a lot more anyway. So at the moment he's the only one living in that house, but I might, for example, start building orchards, for example, in which case I can get somebody to live with him and they'll look after the orchards instead. So then if then she has a child, then okay, I'll look after it for a short period and then go back to her or and get somebody else. It just depends on how many NPCs I need to look after an orchard, to be honest. But yeah, two of those big houses plus the excavation hut over there, and I'm sitting on about, I think it's about 3,600 building technology. We got 120, to be fair, out of a quest. So when you think about it, it's not as much as I was anticipating. So we're still a long way off being able to build this mine. So it's going to be probably like getting that out of more quests more than anything, I'd imagine. I mean, I could rip all these places down here, for example. I mean, they do need replacing. I mean, I've got 2 people now still living in walled houses. If I go over to management and the people, so you've got Berta and Huberta are still on pretty low morale. Gundolf's, as you can see, is starting to go up. He's almost going to, he's probably going to cap out similar to the rest at about 31%. But the thing is, I want to start building like market stalls, because this is the through road for the main village here. So I'm thinking if we can get some market stalls running along the path here, then in theory, you get people going in and out of the village and they'll stop by and buy things. Now technically nobody does. They'll actually still sell things regardless. It doesn't matter. You don't actually need anybody actually coming to visit to actually get your things sold. They just automatically sell anyway, so it's not really an issue. But that's the way I would probably do it, is just have the market stalls running along here. But we're so far off. Go to production technology, we are seriously so far off, because you need 2,500 to be able to get those market stalls, and we're only just on 1,100, so I can see me having to do an awful lot of crafting. Now the rest of this village that I'm going to rebuild, I mean, there's houses I need to replace, there's the storage I need to upgrade. But I also want to reposition the actual animal pens. I want to have somebody has a house, a big house, and next to that is their animal pen where they look after the animals. So then that will be fenced off. I don't really mind the chickens and whatever, everybody wandering around, but I think it's just to tidy the place up a bit. The only trouble is I don't quite know the size of those market stalls. I think they're 4x4, but I'd rather have the actual building itself, and then I can structure things like the roads and what have you around them. So yeah, I think I might hold off a bit on this building design, because I don't want to place anything and then find it doesn't work, in which case I've got to rip it down and start all over again. So I think what I'll do is, there's one more building I do need to make, because our seamstress is living in, well, she's living in that house there at the minute. I think that's Albruna. That'll probably be her over there. Nope, Wilburger. There she is, that's Alruna. So Alruna's living in that house there, so I want to build her a big house. Can't fit it on the end there, there's just not enough room, so I think I'll make this the end point for the house, for the village. I don't have any like palisades yet. I'm not sure if I'll actually put any in, but I think the idea is this is the exit point So since I can't fit her house over here, I'm going to put it over here so it runs kind of in parallel. And then if I want to expand in that direction, I will. But otherwise we'll have the markets there, and then I'll think about where other people's houses go, where all the storage goes and what have you. So yeah, we're almost at the end of the season, but I want to get on with building this other house. Well, we've managed to get the house across the river over there built, so that means Alruna is now living in a much bigger house than she was before, so I've knocked the little one down as well. What was surprising me, I must admit though, is she's actually up to level 8, so she's one of the last NPCs we hired, and yet her skill has just rocketed compared to most. I mean, Edmund's, his just got to about 7 fairly recently, so he works in the fields, and that's what I tend to find as the farmers do really, really well on skills. Now, if you think, I mean, Namia's been with us for a long, long time now. He's the blacksmith. So I've got a bit of an incentive here to actually swap people around to improve their actual skill level. I mean, so for example, what I could do is I could actually get Alruna to do the blacksmith work. So she'll do better than Namia will. Even though she was trained as a seamster, she'll do better as a blacksmith than Namia will. So if I do that, then I should find, I'm expecting that Namia's skill would then go up a lot quicker. In which case we could then swap them back again. So that's an interesting idea, I think. It might be the same with the animal breeders. I mean, I'm quite tempted to put some of those into the fields, because these two, Damric and Edmund, I mean, they're doing pretty well. I mean, Damric has been out of commission, out of the work trade for like 2 years. Edmund took over from her for a while, so that's why he's ahead of her, but just not too far from catching up. And work, if you put them into work in the field, they do a lot better than if you put them in the barns. But yeah, that's something else I could do, is just swap people around, so like they do, say, like a farmer job for a certain amount of time until their skills go up, and then we swap them back to make them animal breeders. Interesting. Anyway, we've got quite a lot of actual houses now built. The horses have actually matured. We've now got adult horses, which I hadn't realised until now. So they're off to bed because it's, was it about 6 o'clock? Yeah, it's about 6 o'clock. So these things get up at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and then they put themselves to bed at about 6. It's like, oh, okay, fair enough. I always find that quite amusing. Anyway, I've been out in the mines because, yeah, it looks like it's going to take a while to get much further on the building technology. We're looking at close to 4,000 we're almost at, so we're not that far off the mine. If we look at our production technology, which is what I was really interested, yeah, that's going to take a while to get to 2,500. So for that reason, I pretty much just stalled the building work. So once I'd finished that building, I used all of the copper and tin that I'd turned into bronze and made myself about 4 pickaxes. Went back to the mine, or cave, and I haven't even finished with 1 pickaxe, and I've just cleaned the place out. So it just goes to show you, because I had stone pickaxes before, and I was breaking all 4 of those, whereas I've cleared the entire mine out and I've still got this 1 pickaxe here, and it's not even halfway finished. So these bronze tools are way, way better. So the plan was, I was just going to pause everything when it came to the building, because I wanted to figure out what to do with these market stalls. I wanted to wait until I'd get the technology sorted out, so that I could actually start building market stalls and properly lay things out. And it just dawned on me, actually, I don't necessarily have to have the market stalls lined up along the road, and I don't necessarily have to start on the right hand side, for example. What I could do is actually get the animal breeders living over on, say, like the right hand side. And that house that I've built, well, there's only Alruna living in it at the minute, so there's no reason why I can't go out, look for another animal breeder to live with her. The only thing that bothers me though is she's getting to 32. I mean, it wouldn't necessarily be an issue in terms of like if I got somebody younger and they didn't have kids, but Yeah, yeah. Just something I have to bear in mind is that a lot of these people I brought into the village who were late mid-20s when I hired them, so they are getting quite old by medieval times. But what it means though is I could actually build. Well, what we've done is we've actually progressed right up through the farming at a pretty rapid rate, so I can actually now build cow sheds as well. So I'm actually tempted to start building the farms for the animals, the animal pens, over on the right hand side, and then I'll have the left hand side as like a little market stall area, so I can do it that way actually. Or the alternative is just to focus on technology, in which case I use the resources I've got and just keep working my way through whatever resources I've got and crafting things, because that's where it comes from. Crafting and cooking items. We're not too far off kitchen Mark II, but I really wanted the market stall. But since I had a bit of a think about these animal pens, I'm thinking I'm more tempted to do that, to be honest. So I think that's what we'll do next. But that's all for another episode.